Hi and welcome back to my channel. My name's Lily, and if you're really into the spooky season like I am, I really hope you enjoy this video because it's gonna be a lot of fun and I've been so excited to film this. So this is actually the second time I've filmed this, which is kind of depressing. The first video I just completely deleted. I thought it was a different video, but that's okay. We're gonna film it for the second time. The lighting isn't as spooky, but that's okay. So in this video, I'm gonna go over 10 houseplants that I think fit the spooky season vibe, and then I'm going to style one shelf in my house to be themed for spooky season. So let's just start. Let's jump into this. Where should I start? I think I might go like least spooky to most spooky, like my hear me outs about spookiness, and then yeah, let's do that. Okay, so the first one is this begonia, and I think I'll change out the pot because this pot is definitely not spooky, it's just cutesy. But this is Begonia lucerna, and arguably I think all begonias could be considered spooky. Also, look how massive, look how big these leaves are. But okay, the older leaves are really dark compared to the newer leaves, and the backs are super dark, very red-esque. But the reason why I don't even know how to explain why I think begonias are spooky. I just feel like the whole genus in general is very spooky. Maybe it's the dark backs and the almost looking like a starry night type vibe, specifically with this one and the dots and the very dark leaves that come in. But I think that the lucerna is a very spooky. I can't really explain it, but if you have any explanation or rebuttal, go ahead and comment it. I'd love to hear your opinions. Also, I'd just love to hear your guys' spooky plants. Okay, so first one is Begonia lucerna. The next one, I think I might have to mix in some philodendrons because there's going to be kind of a lot. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that's not that many, but in comparison. Let's do this one next. Next, we have the philodendron squamiferum, and I think the white pot could actually be kept because like white is kind of the opposite of black, which also in turn kind of makes it feel spooky. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like if it's the opposite, it could still be true. Like gives contrast, like the leaves on the lucerna. The main reason why I think this one is spooky is because the leaves are kind of a dark green. They're pretty green, but I think the main reason is these petioles. They are fuzzy and scary. They kind of look like little spider legs or something a little bit, I feel like it looks like something's a little bit wrong with them. They feel super wiry and almost waxy, like they're very stiff. And the next one I think I will show, I think is more spooky than this one, but it's in the same general ballpark, so let's go over like them at the same time, if you know what I mean. And that one is my philodendron serpents, and obviously you can see why. These are very similar. It's that petiole is very fuzzy, and these ones are extra fuzzy. Oops. That's for flies. But this one also has a really dark leaves, I think. I don't know if it will show up as well on camera. And obviously the more mature, the darker the leaves. Oh, there's a box elder bug. And the back has these crazy venations, which I think is kind of like spooky. When I think of spooky season, oftentimes I think of like tendrils or like stuff coming to get you, lots of Stranger Things vibes, and I feel like this plant kind of gives that. So this one definitely had to be on there, but it is really similar to the squamiferum, so I thought I'd just talk about them together. Going off of the tendrils theme, I have my Staghorn Fern. This one, I don't know the ID, and she needs to be watered. She's very dry. But it's just the long, sprawling, can you even like see her? The sprawling leaves, and also just that like bumps and ridges, because it looks so like coming to get you very tenderly. There's a dead leaf right there. Pull that out. And also just the dark pot and the high contrast. I also feel like since it's kind of fuzzy, that's kind of creepy. But yeah, I think this one kind of matches that spooky vibe. And then going into more, I feel like more spooky plants. Let's do this one. This is my Philodendron gigas, which obviously was chosen because of the dark foliage, just like so incredibly dark. This is not looking the best. I was told that this is a very easy houseplant in the philodendron world, and I feel like I'm really good at taking care of philodendron because I have so many. I think I have like 22 now, and I made a video a couple months ago where I had 19. Now I think I have 3 more. Yeah. And this one I've been struggling with. I did get it from kind of an unreputable seller where like almost all of my plants that I got from them have perished. But I feel like where the plant comes from shouldn't affect it that much, right? Anyways, this is not about an update on the plant. This is more about the plant. But in its full glory, it is very dark. And especially people have bigger ones that are very dark and just give that extra dark vibe. Going off of dark velvety plants, one that I forgot, I have 5 philodendron in this category, which is 50%. And that is my philodendron micans. I'll have to take B-roll of it because it hangs on my wall attached. But that is very dark, and I feel like it could even be darker if it was getting less light, but maybe it wouldn't grow as fast. But that is the shelf that I'm going to be using for this spooky display, so it's perfect. It doesn't have to move, it can just be incorporated. And it's giving that tenderly vibe because it has those arms coming off the side, which I feel like peak. It's so cool. I love the micans. It grows so easily, it's so spooky, so dark, it shingles pretty nicely. Not as nice as the gigas, like not as flat, but it's still so pretty. Yeah, going off of the more spooky vibe, I have a little Lego. This is a little cactus, and she's very dark. I don't know if the camera's gonna pick it up very well, but it's like very dark green, and also having those little spikes and the weird little knobbiness of it. It feels very, I don't know if this is an unpopular opinion, but I feel like pirates are very spooky season. Like I have a pirate costume. I love Pirates of the Caribbean. It's very haunted and giving spooky dead lore, you know what I mean? And I feel like this kind of looks like coral or like something in that realm. And so it definitely gives that spooky vibe, I feel. So yeah, that is a cactus no ID, by the way. I don't know what it is. I just had it. I've had it for years. It's just been chilling. And I actually had a huge growth spurt because it used to just be one little arm, like that size. And then this year it's grown like all of this, which is so crazy to me. But yeah, it's a good little grower. And I feel like it's very dark and fits the vibe. And again, that white pot for high contrast. So, the next one, which you might have been seeing in a lot of these shots, is my Philodendron Florida Ghost. Obviously, she's a ghost. She has to be up there. More of just the name because I feel like she's not terribly spooky, but also those petals are like, here, if you hear it. Here, come up to the mic. Is that such a weird sound? Yeah, it feels like super bumpy, rigid, and very red, which I feel like red and green in high contrast, not in the way of like Christmas, more of the way like spooky, I feel like is very appropriate for the season. But yeah, mostly just because of her name, that she's a ghost, but she also kind of sprawls out like a spider maybe, or like something that's taking over. I'm very much into horror, like nature horror or gothic horror, like gothic era botanical horror. I feel like is very fascinating just because I love plants, I love the gothic era, I love dark, moody, and like all of that. And so I feel like plants that like come out and try and get you are very creepy. Along with that, that leads us into one of the most spooky plants in my collection, arguably. Ooh. And that is just carnivorous plants in general, but this is the only one growing in ambient, so it's the only one I'll be displaying in this display. And this is just a Nepenthes pitcher plant, and it's just little, but I have it in a beaker, which I feel like gives that botanical gothic era vibe, and it is a carnivorous plant. Like, it's gonna get you, it's gonna eat you. You know, there's so much media about carnivorous plants becoming huge and eating humans, and I feel like that just perfectly fits the vibe. It's also not a ping where it's like, oh, but it's a cute little gonna eat you plant. It's like you could fall in and you would burn from acid. I feel like Venus flytraps are definitely the most spooky, but my Venus flytraps live in a terrarium that it can't move just because they need high humidity. Speaking of terrariums, my next plant that I have is a little terrarium, which I feel like terrariums are very appropriate, very spooky. And this is a rabbit foot fern. And I put some lava stone in there, which is very dark and gray, and I feel like it gives, I feel like I'm saying gives a lot. Is it getting annoying? Please tell me in the comments. But the stone I think is appropriate because it's very Gothic era. You know, the Gothic era is about lots of things, but one of the things that makes something Gothic literature is there has to be a building or like a castle or house involved, like in the plot. And yeah, it kind of looks like the ruins of a castle. I feel like if anyone else is getting that vibe, or it's like overrun. Oh, I forgot to talk about the rabbit foot fern and why it's spooky. So the rabbit foot fern looks like a cute little fern in here, but it has these long rhizomes that are furry and they look like a rabbit's foot, which I feel like definitely super creepy. Rabbit foots are like good luck, but they're also kind of gross, and a lot of people either like love them or hate them, and I feel like they're associated with a lot of dark themes, specifically like death, but also good luck, and kind of playing off of those two themes. Anyway, I'm going a little bit too deep. This is just mostly about the plant. It's like you have a fuzzy plant. That's kind of weird. And as I've already mentioned with the serpents and with the squamiferum, fuzzy plants are kind of creepy. And I think they freak people out a little bit because it's like a plant is supposed to be sleek and just a plant, you know? But thank you so much for going through my top 10 creepy plants in my collection. So now let's jump into the styling and the decorating of my spooky area.